Welcome, curious minds, to another deep dive. Today, we're plunging into a collection of genuinely unsettling narratives pulled directly from your shared sources. Our mission, like always, is to navigate these really intriguing accounts, peel back the layers, of the bizarre, and try to understand what makes these stories stick with us.
Indeed. And we'll be exploring three quite distinct experiences. Each one offers a glimpse, really, into moments where the ordinary just suddenly veers into the unexplainable. What's striking, I think, is how everyday situations can suddenly challenge our basic perceptions of reality and, well, safety.
That's exactly it. These aren't your typical spooky campfire tales. These are first-hand accounts, real people recounting what happened to them. We're not here to confirm or deny, not really. We're just here to unpack the details, the feelings, and the impact these moments had.
Yeah, our source today is mainly a recent YouTube compilation chronicling these events. It's fascinating how the mundane can become truly terrifying, and how our brains, they struggle to make sense of what seems impossible. It really touches on those moments where logic kind of fails.
So let's get into it. Let's jump right into our first chilling account. This one might make you think twice about your next Facebook Marketplace find. Okay, so our first story takes us back to October 1st. A perfect autumn day, actually. The narrator, she wanted to surprise her boyfriend, Carter, by decorating their new place with fall and Halloween stuff. She'd been looking around Marcel's other places, but then decided to check Facebook Marketplace for a bargain, And that's where she found this listing for a big green plastic container full of fall decorations, only $20. The ad also had this slightly odd mention: selling other stuff, clearing out house, everything must go.
Right, and that everything must go detail. That's what made her click on the seller's profile, a guy named Cody. What's really interesting here is how off the profile felt. Everything private. The profile pic was just a close-up of a trucker hat. You couldn't see his face. Cover photo, a blurry lake. And the stuff he was selling was just weird. An iPhone, women's clothes, Christmas decorations. It just felt a bit strange, Uncanny.
Yeah, unsettling from the get-go, right? But, $20 for a bin of decorations seemed too good to pass up, so she messaged Cody. He replied, instantly. Said the container had all sorts of decor. They set up a meeting at his house around 9 p.m. Before leaving, she did the smart thing, checked the address on Google Street View. The town wasn't great, she mentioned, but the house itself looked fine, normal. 2 cars in the drive, kept lawn. So she felt okay about it, but just in case, she brought her friend Sally along.
Smart move. And the drive was about half an hour. Sally apparently half-joked about how skinchy the area seemed. It's that feeling people get, isn't it? A little bit of unease in unfamiliar places. Plus, it was dark by then, which always amps things up a bit, makes everything seem more hidden.
Definitely. And as they got closer, Cody sends this message that immediately put them on edge. When you get here, you can come right in. Both her and Sally just felt that was deeply uncomfortable. Who says that? So they decided, no way, we're ringing the doorbell. They pull up, and surprise, no cars in the driveway. Totally different from Street View, just dim lights barely showing through closed blinds. The narrator messages Cody, saying they're outside. They both just watch the house. And then, this is creepy, the blinds in one window just shifted. Slightly, like someone peeked out and let them snap back.
Oh, yeah. That feeling of being watched, combined with the weird come right in message and the missing cars, it just screams vulnerability. It shifts from a simple transaction to something planned, concealed. Makes you ask who was watching and why hide. It suggests something deliberate was going on.
Totally. So the front door opens shortly after Cody messages back, "I'm at the door, you can come in." They get out of the car cautiously. The narrator calls out Cody's name a few times first. No answer. Sally's whispering, "We should leave. Seriously, let's go." But then this really deep voice from inside goes, "Hey, yes, I'm here inside." And a man appears, but only half visible, sort of peering around the doorframe. They slowly walk closer. He opens the door fully, but then just walks away, out of sight, into the house. As they step just inside the doorway, keeping the front door open, thankfully, they get hit with this strong, awful smell, like old cotton, she said, mixed with something really, really unpleasant. And she heard fast, heavy footsteps moving away into another room, followed by his unnervingly deep voice saying, "It's over in here, come here."
Wow, those sensory details are key, aren't they? The deep voice, the smell she described as actual death. Coming from that other room, the dim, depressing living room with old furniture. It creates this incredibly vivid, disturbing atmosphere. It's not just a messy house, it's a scene. Something feels fundamentally wrong.
Exactly. And in the middle of this depressing room, they see it. A red container with a green lid. which was not the green container from the ad. Different shape, different color bin, and Cody's standing right over it. She gets her first clear look at him. Not a friendly-looking man, she said. Understatement, probably. He invites her to open the container. She just gets this really strong feeling, like, don't touch it, asks him to open it. And his response, well, you're no fun. Just like that. That comment alone had them backing up towards the door. But then he lifts the lid, and they were just, quote, blasted with another putrid smell. Even worse than the first one. That was it. No hesitation. Pure instinct. They turned, ran out the door, didn't even look back till they were in the car. Sally's yelling, hurry, hurry! By the time they got the car started, the front door of the house was already shut tight. Never saw what was inside. But she was absolutely certain. Definitely not decorations. The speed that door closed suggests he was watching them leave. Maybe even expected them to run.
Absolutely. That overwhelming smell on top of all the other weirdness, the watching, the invite, his whole demeanor, the wrong container, that was the final straw. It just highlights how crucial gut instinct is in potentially dangerous situations. You just know.
Yeah.
And yeah, the door closing so fast, it suggests he wasn't surprised they bolted. Makes you wonder what was in there and what his plan was. Chilling.
Seriously chilling. So the next day, she tells her boyfriend Carter the whole story. He looks up the address. An older woman, late 60s, answers the door, says she owns the place, lives there alone, totally bewildered. But the narrator had the Facebook messages, the address, proof she wasn't making it up. Which makes the woman's denial even creepier.
It's a total contradiction, isn't it?
It was Cody.
A squatter, someone else. The gap between the online persona, the actual person they met, and then the registered owner, it creates this huge uncertainty. It's a really stark reminder that online interactions can mask some very unpredictable, potentially dangerous realities. Makes you question who you're really dealing with.
What a disturbing story. So many unanswered questions. She definitely learned her lesson, avoids going to sellers' houses now. Probably wise. Okay, let's shift gears. From the dangers lurking behind a screen, we move to the unsettling feeling of being watched in nature. Our next account takes us to a hiking trail, where peace turned into paranoia. This one's also from 2019, a 22-year-old woman living alone in Asheville, North Carolina. She loved hiking, apparently, and one Wednesday in October decided to explore DuPont State Forest.
Right, and the setting itself is important. A beautiful, normally peaceful hiking trail. It was cloudy after some rain, kind of atmospheric. She was hoping for solitude, wanted the trails to herself, which ironically makes what happens next feel even more intrusive, more targeted.
Yeah. She hiked about less than half a mile to Triple Falls, beautiful spot, apparently a Hunger Games filming location too. So she's sitting there on a rock, enjoying the quiet, and she notices a woman in the woods, just off the trail, staring right at her. She does the polite thing, gives a little wave, but the woman just turns and slowly walks deeper into the woods until she disappears. Odd, maybe, but she didn't dwell on it. Continued her hike up towards High Falls, took some pictures, videos, found another dry rock to sit on, and this is where it gets really weird. She gets this intense feeling of deja vu, looks up and sees the exact same woman again, staring at her from the woods. This time, she felt properly unnerved, pretended to look at her phone, waited like 10 seconds, glanced up, and the woman was gone. Vanished.
That repetition is key. The appearing, the staring, the disappearing without a sound. It builds this creeping sense of unease. She notes the woman's description around 55, grayish blonde hair, but it's the behavior that's so deeply unsettling. It defies normal explanation. It's not just someone hiking.
No, definitely not. So she keeps going, reaches the covered bridge, another landmark, takes more photos, looks back the way she came, and there she is again, the woman. At the end of the bridge, staring. The narrator swears she didn't see her walk onto the bridge, didn't hear anything. Now she's annoyed, maybe a bit scared too. Walks towards the woman, says, excuse me, trying to get a reaction. But the woman just turns again, walks away really fast. An unsettling speed, the narrator called it, for someone her age. She wondered for a second if maybe the woman needed help, but the whole vibe was just too strange. She decided not to follow her.
It's that consistent pattern, isn't it? Appear, stare, vanish, or leave rapidly when approached. No interaction possible. It completely messes with your sense of reality. Is this person real? Are they a threat? Why are they doing this? It pushes against rational thought.
Totally. So on her way back down, she passes another hiker, a younger woman walking a dog. She stops, asks if she happened to see an older woman matching the description. The hiker says no, she hadn't seen anyone like that. When the narrator explains what happened, the other woman just laughs, says, wow, that's really, really strange. Then the narrator gets back to her car, the encounter stops, but she's left feeling deeply uneasy.
And that little bit of validation, even just that's strange, confirms it wasn't just in her head, it was objectively weird. It's like a brief anchor to shared reality before things get even stranger later that night. It
Okay.
sort of grounds the experience before the really inexplicable part.
Exactly. Because later that night, she's in bed. Heavy sleeper, apparently. But she wakes up and sees the unmistakable figure of a woman standing at the foot of her bed. She screams, scrambles back against the headboard, terrified, and the figure just turns and walks calmly out of her bedroom door. She catches her breath, heart pounding, flips on all the lights, grabs a knife from the kitchen, searches the entire apartment, top to bottom. Nothing. No one there. Doors locked. She immediately calls her dad, completely freaked out, tells him what just happened.
And her dad's reaction is understandable, right? He suggests maybe she was half asleep, had a hallucination, like her brain just pulled up that image from earlier in the day, the woman on the trail, because it was on her mind.
Yeah.
A hypnagogic hallucination, maybe? That's a logical, psychological explanation. Unsettling, but logical.
Logical, yes. But here's the twist. The really mind-blowing part. 2 days later, she gets news. Her estranged aunt in Germany had passed away, an aunt she'd never met, who hadn't left Germany in over 25 years. But when she saw the prayer card, saw a photograph of her aunt, she realized the woman looked identical. Identical to the woman she'd seen multiple times on the trail, and identical to the figure she'd hallucinated at the foot of her bed.
Whoa, okay, that changes everything, doesn't it? It completely shifts the narrative. From a potential psychological event to something else entirely. Personal, maybe supernatural. If the brain just conjured an image, why that specific image, an unknown relative from across the world? The timing, the visual confirmation via the photo, it just shakes that simple, rational explanation. It makes you wonder about connections we don't understand between family, death, things we can't easily explain.
Absolutely. The story apparently shook her whole family, especially because she had told her dad about the figure before they even knew about the aunt's death. It made her seriously question her own beliefs about, well, everything. What does that mean, right? These connections across distance, maybe even across death. It's profound.
Okay, for our final story today, we're heading down to Brunswick, Georgia. 2 friends, Carlos and the narrator, roommates since they were 21. They knew about this really creepy abandoned house in the area. Looked like it was from another century entirely. Used to joke about it, make up stories about its history. You know how people do with places like that.
Oh yeah, abandoned houses are magnets for stories, for folklore. They hold this kind of dark fascination. And the urge to explore one, especially in mid-October, Halloween mode, as the narrator put it, it taps into that very human curiosity about the unknown, the forbidden, testing boundaries. Totally. So, one Friday night, they decide, hey, it'll be fun. Let's break in, check it out. They grab baseball bats for safety, they said, which already tells you something. Got some fast food, some beers. Made it an adventure. Parked way down the road to be sneaky because the properties there were apparently quite large. They walked quietly up to the house. It was pitch black in that area. No streetlights, no lights on anywhere near it. Had to use flashlights just to see across the overgrown lawn, all dirt patches and weeds. Classic creepy setting.
That imagery is potent, isn't it? The dark house, the wild lawn.
Yeah.
It sets the mood immediately. And bringing bats, even jokingly for safety, shows they had some underlying awareness of risk, right? It wasn't just fun and games in the back of their minds. It primes you for tension.
Definitely primed. And then the first surprise. The back door. Unlocked. The house wasn't boarded up. Windows weren't smashed. Even though everyone knew it was abandoned, just open. So they walked right in. Inside, it was bigger than the neighbors' houses, but felt really cramped. Like a maze, she said. Lots of small rooms. Everything looked ancient. Old furniture, covered in dust, clearly untouched for years.
That detail unlocked, but full of old stuff, is interesting. It suggests maybe it wasn't abandoned quite as long ago as they thought. Or maybe someone had been there more recently. Why so accessible? Why leave things behind? It adds another layer of mystery right away. Not just old, but maybe occupied.
Good point. So Carlos goes into another room, leaves the narrator alone for a minute, calls out that there's still furniture everywhere. The narrator explores the first floor a bit more, finds these small bedrooms, drawers pulled out, junk left behind, typical abandoned house stuff. Then he hears Carlos say he's going upstairs. The narrator checks one more cramped bedroom, finds a corridor, bathroom off it, and then at the end, another door. This one leads down, long, creaky stairway to a basement. And he thinks, to hell with it, I'm walking down.
The classic horror movie moment.
Yeah.
The impulse to go towards the creepy basement, not away from it. It's that pull of the unknown, even when every instinct should be screaming, don't go down there. It definitely ramps up the suspense.
Totally. So he starts down. Steps are groaning, cracking. He gets about halfway down, notices a faint light, a glow. turns off his own flashlight. Yep, the glow is definitely still there, coming from the bottom. He even admits, I should have turned and left, but he didn't. Curiosity, maybe something else, kept him going. Gets to the bottom, sees the source of the light. 2 tall candles flickering on a small table. But that's not what catches his eye first. Right next to the candles, a sofa rocking chair, and it was moving. Gently rocking back and forth. Someone was in it. Facing away from him, he could just see a hand resting on the armrest.
Okay, that is genuinely terrifying. The faint candlelight, the rocking chair, the unseen person, it hits all the primal fear buttons. And not seeing the person clearly, just the movement and a hint of them, that makes it even worse. Your imagination fills in the blanks. The immediate reaction is just get out feels absolutely right. Curiosity is instantly gone, replaced by pure survival instinct.
Absolutely, he needs to get out, now. Starts backing up the stairs, trying to be silent. Every creak feels deafening. Halfway up, he dares to look back. The faint candle glow is still there. Keeps going, almost at the top. One stair makes an especially loud creak. He freezes, clenches his teeth, then makes it the rest of the way. Turns to shut the basement door, and looks down again, now. Pitch black. Absolute darkness. The candles were out. The thought that they were put out after he turned his back sends chills down his spine, he said. He quietly closes the door, tiptoes back through the maze-like house, finds the stairs going up.
Wow. The darkness is almost worse than the light, isn't it? It means the person wasn't just sitting there passively. They heard him, knew he was leaving, and then actively extinguished the light. It implies awareness, maybe even concealment. It makes the presence feel much more active, more threatening.
Definitely. So he calls up to Carlos, quietly at first. Carlos, then louder, Carlos! No answer. Has to go all the way up the stairs, still calling his name. Finally, he just says it, voice low and urgent. If you're trying to scare me, stop joking around. There's someone in the basement. We need to get out of here now.
Yeah.
That gets Carlos's attention. He's like, are you serious? Narrator says, I'll explain outside. Let's just go.
Mm-hmm.
He started heading for the back door, not bothering to be quiet anymore, just focused on getting out. But here's the kicker. As they pass that corridor, the one with the basement door, they both see it. The silhouette of a man standing in front of the door in the darkness.
The shared sighting. That's crucial. It takes it from one person's potentially freaked out experience to something objective. They both saw him. It validates the terror, confirms the threat was real right there. Not just imagination running wild. It makes the danger undeniable for both of them.
Undeniable is right. Time for sneaking was definitely over. They just screamed, just go! And absolutely booked it out of there. Ran full speed to the car, made it in like 30 seconds, both totally out of breath, adrenaline pumping. In the car, the narrator spills the whole story about the basement, the candles, the figure. Carlos is just repeating, yo, what the F, clearly in shock.
And it leaves you with that lingering question, doesn't it? Who was that person?
Yeah.
A squatter seems likely, as the narrator guessed.
Yeah.
But the specifics, the candles, the rocking chair, the silhouette, it feels more like something out of a story. It's such a powerful example of how abandoned places aren't just empty. They can hold real dangers, blending that sort of mundane trespassing with something genuinely terrifying and unexplained. Makes you really reconsider exploring places like that.
Yeah. So while maybe no one legally lived there, someone was definitely down in that basement. Who it was, they'll never know. And you can bet they've never gone anywhere near that street again.
So if we sort of step back and look at these 3 stories together, despite being so different, settings, circumstances, there are common threads, aren't there? This theme of the everyday buying something online, going for a hike, a bit of teenage daredevil stuff, suddenly taking this sharp, terrifying turn into the deeply unsettling. These weren't extreme situations to begin with, just normal life, interrupted.
Yeah, exactly. And the power of the unknown is huge in all of them. Whether it's a shadowy figure you don't quite see, a woman who appears and disappears, or whatever was really in that container, our minds just fill in the blanks with the worst possibilities. That's where a lot of the fear comes from, I think, the lack of explanation.
For sure. Each story plays on these basic human vulnerabilities, doesn't it? That feeling of being watched, the fear of intrusion, whether it's your home or just your personal space on a trail, and that unsettling breakdown of what feels safe and familiar. They remind us that sometimes the biggest fear isn't just what you see, but what you don't understand, what's just out of sight or just beyond logical comprehension. And it raises that interesting question, how much of fear is the external event itself? And how much is our own mind, our own expectations of horror shaping how we perceive it?
That's a great point. The aha moment, maybe, is realizing that the details that stick with you, the ones that really unsettle you, are often the ambiguous ones, the things left unexplained. For you listening, what stands out most? Which details from these stories really get under your skin? So we've explored 3 really distinct, pretty disturbing encounters today. From that Facebook Marketplace deal gone seriously wrong to a hike that felt haunted and a terrifying discovery in an abandoned house.
Yeah, and each story kind of leaves us hanging, doesn't it? More questions than answers, really.
Yeah.
It's a reminder of how thin that line can sometimes feel between our normal routines and, well, the truly inexplicable. Makes you appreciate the ordinary, maybe.
So what does this all mean for you? Maybe consider how these random, unsettling moments can really shake someone's world, challenge what they believe. It's a powerful reminder that sometimes the scariest stories are the true ones because they happen to real people and they force us to confront that edge of the unknown. Perhaps these deep dives will make you think twice about that next online meetup or that quiet, empty place you were thinking of exploring. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the truly unsettling. We'll be back soon with more fascinating material to unpack together. Until then, stay curious.